Okay, hello, we're live, and today we have a fun new special topic to talk about, which is the global people's monetary system with Rick Jewers. And Rick's been working on this a while, and I do want to ask Rick just for fun. I know a lot of things we talk about here today you'll be reiterating, but just for the sake of things, do you want to give people a little background on yourself, just a little bit about your experiences this lifetime to give people a background?
Yeah, sure. Where to begin? You could write so many books on it. So to condense it, I am a very important divine one, a very important creator. I had incarnated upon the planet as a human till about 47 years of age. So the memory of what and who I was suppressed for very important divine reasons. And then, Lot used the term of being awakened. There comes that moment when you are awakened and everything that you thought you knew was reality out there, upon that moment, everything gets flipped upside down, and you get your divine memory restored of who you are, what your mission here is to do, and you come to essentially discover that everything what you were living in is the lie, is the illusion, and then each one, to whoever it may be, you're given your divine mission of what you're to do. And to keep it simple, again, we are here for very important divine reasons, and every moment now that is being revealed to so many that are here in the humanoid form, to know that, yeah, indeed, there is a purpose for us being upon the surface. There is a reason, and that everything is orchestrated and divinely ordained, and that nothing is by chance. And as we keep going forward, each one understands that nothing is even trivial anymore. Any little thing that you do reverberates out, um, within, outward within this reality. So, and even into the multiverse. So having said that, I kind of got off track there. So yes, I'm a very important creator. I am a Christ, but also much more in the total divine scheme of things. So there are beliefs upon the surface. For example, uh, the Christ belief is a very important belief. Because it's connected to this worldly realm and also the divine realm. So it does play an important role in what we're doing. So that's why I say I am a Christ, but I also say I am much more, because in the absolute of all of creation, there is much more than just a Christ for this dimension. So we go into the multiverses, and there's many designations of divine ones. So I am here upon the surface with a very important mission to empower ones into their higher divinity, to assist them so we move the overall divine plan forward, of which we are all a part of. So we are all part of a ground crew, a specific or even special ops divine team. And anyone watching this, for the very reason you are watching it, it also divinely means you are part of that team as well. Meaning that someone that is not part of the team yet, they would not even know this video exists. They would not even be attracted to it. So, so we're all part of a big team. I'm one of the leaders of that. I am not let per se the only surface leader. We have so many, and in this great time, we are bringing all of those great divine leaders together, and the huge divine Christ consciousness network is expanding very rapidly. Did that answer it enough, or do you have any little questions?
Oh no, that was perfect. Yes, really cool way you explain it. It always comes around to just a really cool way of explaining things so people can understand, what's really going on. Because it seems like, from my experience, things were moving so slowly, and then now they're moving so quickly, and that's one thing that you talk about a lot recently, and it's really cool because as 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 you explain, how that's happening. In my experience, I experience that, and then I multiply that into the collective, plasma consciousness, and then it just comes back and faster and faster. And I've been going out and talking to people about this new monetary system, and everybody that I talk to is like, "Oh yeah, well, I guess we could do it. If the banks create money out of nothing, then why can't we?" And so
Oh,
really, it's
great.
just about getting the message out there quickly, because people already know. It's like you say 2 to 4 billion people on the planet already are awake. I mean, most people I've met know that the money is printed out of nothing. It's like you said last night on your video, people just didn't realize they had a choice until now, and they do. So we just gotta get the word out, give them the choice, and it can happen quickly.
Yeah, exactly. And it's happening. I've just the other day, I was impressed. Yeah, I was going with a relative figure of perhaps 2.2 billion, but as I'm seeing the connections beginning to be made, and everything that I use to gauge the planetary evolvement with, yeah, I was very impressed. The numbers are very rapidly climbing, and what you're sharing with me, Henry, is that as a sample of that, I have not spoken that I know of to any of your viewers or anyone you speak to, and so here you are actually bringing another piece here together by us doing the show. So it is vast indeed. And we're in the time of converging all of these groups and all of the individuals as well.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing I wanted to go over is just let everybody know that I'll put in the comments. There's a group that you made, Rick, on Facebook called the Rick Jewers Global People's New Monetary System. People can join there to get the updates, or they can go to your Facebook page. And yeah, just I wanted to read off of this one of the posts on here so people can see that the new monetary system we're talking about is created by the people, and it does not require any asset backing, just like the current system. And it doesn't. And so what happens is, I just kind of want people to get an understanding of how it really works, where like what the current system is only controlled by a few, and so when we all withdraw our consent or agreement from that, um, and basically the people who helped create it, so the same people can help create the new system, and it's really awesome. And yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, exactly just where you left off there. It's so simple, and this is the way, that I wish to keep it, and also on the page and what I put out in regards to it. The simpler it is, the more easier it is to grasp and to take forward. And, we keep it simple, let's say right here. And as it keeps going forward, then we can expand upon it more, meaning that more will grasp it and simplify it even more as it goes out fully as we get it integrated into this now, and all of us living by it. So uh, all we need to do, what we're doing now, is create that awareness to everyone and letting them know you have a choice, you have an option. And yes, the same way as the banks and governments created money. Well, anything is created really out of thin air, and there is no ownership to it. However, the money that was created as a result because you're alive and everyone's alive. So we all actually own this, and we have the ability to create the monetary system ourselves. Like, it's nonsensical and ridiculous, as what they would call civilized humans to be creating misery when you can create the total happiness. So misery was created with the control of money intentionally, but us, by joining all together, 8 billion upon the planet, why not we all just get together and create, the liberty. We can use money as a very valuable tool, but all it takes is the consent of the people. So, during this transition, we have right here the new monetary system we're creating by the people. And this is the system you're existing in now. So between getting from here to there, you still have a duality that this system has to support you. So what you do is you keep the system supporting you for now in whatever way you can, but your consent is up here. And at the time, as we have ones up here that keep just signing, all they need to do is sign with their agreement to join with the rest. So once we have enough signatures up here, like 2 billion, once we have this written, then this here below, it cannot match it. Any government, any opposition cannot match 2 billion global people. No country, no individual country can go against this new monetary system. So it is imminent, and now is the time to do it, and we're doing it. So I have started this, and we wish to bring, over the years, there has been so many groups that have been working on this. Like, they were all in the closet, uh, out of fear, keep tucked away, but also setting things up and planting the seeds for this time. So you could have hundreds of groups and even more upon the planet that were keeping hush hush, but now it's time, no, for them all to come out of the closet and create the big group. And this is beginning to happen because it is time. And this is the beauty of it.
Yeah, and it's a time for like everybody to step up and like do their part, because in my experience, everybody's complaints and suffering and all this, it really does start from this idea or this illusion of like lack, scarcity from the monetary system, because nature is like super abundant, and we all have experienced that, whether it's this lifetime or not, but it's there and it's obvious and it's all proven with science now. It's just really cool, quantum physics and all this stuff. It really proves all of this spiritual higher knowledge, and as people start to understand this, they're going to want to like experience this abundance and share what we're sharing and get involved, and it's really cool, and it's fun to see it play out and to watch it play out at the same time.
Well, indeed, and thank you for mentioning, the quantum technology being released that is already here upon the planet. And one of the greatest benefits of with the people and creating their own currency is the quantum computer. And Femke and I spoke about that earlier today. You know, she asked how can this be distributed? So it gave the opportunity and also brought this up now that, you know, the capacity of these quantum computers and all of the IT network that the banks have with, you know, their systems, their pay systems. It's established globally. All of that framework is done, and for example, every country now, like you have a card you put in, that's all connected to the system. So it's so easy just having one supercomputer in a room wired into this eternal or this complete financial system that it's one person or even a dozen just from one room upon the planet can distribute these funds. The entire framework is there. One main quantum computer or several, it doesn't matter. The technology here is to do that, to distribute it. And you know, why we're still using money and why we're saying with this new monetary system is because you need the transitory steps, you know, to avoid chaos and futuristic shock or what have you. You need to keep a sort of order with the economy and to not to keep the economy going forward because economy is actually an obsolete word. We'll use community, right? To keep the human community going forward, well, it's not going to be based on profit, taxes, debt, gain, or loss. It's community. And, you know, many, you know yourself, you've been in these communities where you're mostly self sustained. So, what we're doing now is taking the small community ideology and just integrating it globally for everyone, not to have this freedom. But it's very simply done, and you need to have a sort of the control over it just to keep it stable. So you need to have the slight restrictive control, like we're going to put out like the equivalent globally to every man, woman, and even children, like 10,000 US for an initial payment because the system, the old system that I mentioned here, it's existing on money. So you need to, during the transition, you still need to temporarily interact with this and you need the money until we raise this up completely in the full free monetary system. So to do that, you know, just every man, woman, and child upon the planet receiving this huge monetary gift, but it does come with a string attached. You know, there'll be, let's say, 10 hours a month that one must contribute to the society. But when you look at this, what is for everyone to gain, politicians and leaders of the world included, you just decrease your workload by perhaps what, maybe 90%. I don't know. I'm not even going to calculate, but you don't have to work. You have all of the freedom of the money. You do not have to worry about your family, your children, or your children's children, your grandchildren, because everyone is set free. So, you know, this is an amazing, simple concept, but all it takes, again, is the support of the people. Just by putting a signature, consenting, yes, I want to be part of this. And once you have, as I said, 2 billion signatures, it cannot be ignored by anything globally. And when they look at the simplicity and the common sense of it, as I said, even a 3-year-old child, if they're given this new monetary and legal system compared to what they already have, well, a 3-year-old child will say, I want the full freedom. Yeah, I don't want to have to grow up to work 80 hours a week like some of them do and save money and more money. worry about money. They'd want the freedom. So it's a simple platform, a simple option. And as you can see, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like you mentioned in the same post I was reading from earlier, most crime comes from the whole, scarcity, lack of money thing as well. And so there will be a new legal system that you briefly mentioned where, where things are judged upon whether you're actually hurting another individual or not. But, there's no crimes for stealing money because money is abundant, just like everything. And it's available to everyone. So yeah, some people probably initially have this like scared mindset about like, oh, I'm going to lose my job. But you're going to be looked after, and you're going to find a job that you're passionate about, and you're actually going to spend more time doing the things you love with your family and friends, and it's just like a whole new world is going to open up to these people that have been living in such a struggle, like that life of 9 to 5, paying bills, having children. It's most of the world is living that paycheck to paycheck, or even worse.
Well, exactly. It optimizes the productivity of humanity as a whole, where they're free to choose, and there's been studies in some countries like Sweden, that began to accept and employ that. And, this is incredibly to old humanity advanced, but it's a simple way to do it. And you are going to increase your productivity and advance in humanity when everyone has the choice to do, yeah, what they wish to do. And they don't need to spend years into colleges and public schools learning irrelevant things. If you're to look at everything that is taught in public schools today, it's all irrelevant to this moment. It's useless information. A little bit of physics and a little bit of math, but as you know, with physics and science, it's constantly undergoing change. So if you're a child that learns something now in grade 3, in a few weeks' time, that can change. So, just as a quick example. So, yeah, the whole everything is enhanced and empowered upwards where it should be. When I was first awakened to who I was about 10 years ago and what the mission was here to do, I was told by Father humanity was 123 years behind where it could have and should have been in conjunction with the entire multiverse. So to do this, this is why so many of the star seeds and ones like us had to get busy to plant the seeds and to do all this work. But to cut a long story short, uh, that very quickly, in a matter of 10 linear years, we have covered about 123 years that right now we're only months away from catching humanity up to where it should have been in conjunction with first contact and all of the other interdimensional beings. So our 10 years of linear work has caught humanity up to, let's say, to civilization and out of the savagery.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like it's really cool to hear you say it, because in my experience, I only woke up about 4 years ago, um, and so I wasn't really on the team consciously for a while. But and a lot of people, that might not have, just hearing about all this stuff now, but they're seeing it. Like it's so obvious to see how people are witnessing, because it's becoming so obvious, like the high energies that are coming in to this realm. It's affecting people, their stuff is coming up, or the opposite, or they're seeing beauty everywhere, or both, it's going back and forth. And And when they start hearing this information about the monetary system, it's really just going to open people up to like, oh wow, like yeah, we can really enjoy life here. Because in my experience, I remember being like a little kid walking around the playground and thinking like this is all just real weird, the whole school system. And I was trying to figure out as a 7-year-old or however old I was how I was going to survive in a monetary system where everybody seemed miserable, and not be miserable. And it just doesn't really work unless you're ripping off your brother or sister eventually, in some way. And so, in the current system. And so when people start to learn about the new system, it's going to happen really quickly because it's a no-brainer, like you said. And one thing that's really cool that we've been seeing is that there's so many amazing people on the planet that have figured out so many pieces of the puzzle, like we just got to bring everybody together. But people have figured out the educational system, the health system, technology, science. Like somebody has done almost everything. Like it blows me away all the stuff that we're learning that people have discovered and dived into and done their part. It's just amazing. Yeah.
Exactly. That's all of the framework, as I said, what we were doing exactly. And it is so amazing. And so many different individuals. I constantly meet, new ones and get connected, and just totally and absolutely impressive. And you mentioned a very important indicator as well, the feeling of the energy, the empathic abilities. And this is a huge confirmation for many as well. So reality exists on frequency and vibration. So all of us upon the surface in humanity, we all have an energetic vibration and frequency within us. So every time that gets raised, it changes reality and it affects it. So it's very, at the same time, you have, yeah, and I'll say this here. You have the physical organic vessel is also undergoing great change. It's becoming more advanced. It's evolving from the carbon-based organism into a crystalline component. And without going too deep into that, that is also significant, but it's also what is causing ones to become more empathic and actually feeling the energy because they're evolving within. And if you're to go back, 10, 20 years ago and do a survey or research, you would see empath was a very rare thing. And if you were to do a survey today, you'll hear one saying, yeah, all of a sudden a month ago, I started to be able to feel energies. And you'll have ones, yeah, it happened to me 10 years ago, but it's happening at an exponential rate as the humanoid vessels also evolve into the crystalline component, because the crystalline component actually interacts with the vibration, with the energy, and also the nervous system is evolved also to feel that, and it's very great. Yeah, it's very important. So when we speak about these things, in metaphysics, which covers all of this, these are very real confirmations. And as you said, like with scientists and quantum physics, it is confirming everything that the light workers in the metaphysical communities have said for years, and science might have renounced it or rejected it until, they could understand it from their lower consciousness. But also with the consciousness level raising higher and higher, it now allowed for the scientists to understand it as well. Oh yeah, the lights come on, and they begin to understand it. So overall consciousness is going higher as well. Very quickly, again, if you look at all governments and all leaders around the world at this time, do you hear any of them speaking about actually liberating humanity and assisting them? Do you see 213 country leaders just getting all together to create the simplified freedom for humanity that wipes out suffering, poverty, many deaths? No, you don't. And that's because, again, most of them have not evolved to the higher consciousness. But it also shows they are incompetent and unable, and perhaps, they have another agenda. They don't want to do it. But the thing is, they are small. If you were to take all of the governments around the world or the elite, you only have a few million. That is no match, again, to the billions of the people. So the power is with the people. Again, each one just needs to be aware uh, of where they put their consent and what their option is. And nothing stops nor suppresses this. If the new people's new monetary system could have been stopped or suppressed, none of us would be here today. We would not even be in heaven this conversation. Because if the darkness actually had control, none of this would have been allowed to go forward. So this tells you that yes, we do have the power, it cannot be stopped, and that they lost. Now, the duration for this to occur, I anticipate we can have this done by 6 months. Actually, pretty well much less than that is what I feel. But I feel by 6 months is a reasonable period to get humanity into that higher state. And again, as we said, uh, reality, the way it is, it functions with vibration and frequency. When you have everyone so happy upon the surface that restriction and workload has been taken from them, well, then they actually rise up and reality changes very quickly. So it's very good.
Yeah, it's so cool. And as you explain it, I see how it happens, etherically, where where enough beings get to that level of seeing what makes sense and starting to enjoy life, because when you understand sacred geometry, which you can see without even knowing about sacred geometry, just look at a flower or whatever, just how beautiful life is in every dimension, all the way down into where we are here. It's just a reflection of what is everywhere, and it's so cool and it's so beautiful. And then it just makes sense that we all live in abundance, which is why the idea or the concept of the people's monetary system came about, and it's why it's just happening now. It's all divine timing. It's so cool the way it all works. It's just awesome. And I guess I want to say that people can start to see that and just like remember that throughout their day, that that's what's coming, that's what they're consenting to. And like you said, like, you're still using money down here for now, but your consent is up here, and just like keep seeing that. Don't just buy the things that you need that make that to for you to get to just stay here, and just keep sharing the information, and it will just keep happening, and the movement will grow. Like you're putting out a PDF. Is there going to be a website where people can sign or to give their consent? How's that going to work?
Well, what's beginning, like this is evolving as we go forward. I took it upon myself to lead it and initiate it. However, this is for all of the people. So as we go forward, whatever, when more comes on board to work with I as a team, or if they're going to take it forward, I'm fine with that as well. So having said this, one thing I say though, to keep it very simple, the simplicity is the key. We don't for my thoughts and what I know needs to be done, we don't need many websites, many groups, because that causes confusion. So it's best just to have, the one site and keep it simple. That, let's say, during the duration of a month, that one might only need to go there and just read 2 articles of updated information, to keep things simple. And this is actually how simple we can have it. Just one website or what have you, and that can be done very easily, and everyone can get their own information. It's their responsibility to keep updated, but keep it simple. No one wants to be inundated like reading multiple posts and all of this. So we need the information condensed and just all in one place, and that also simplifies everything. So we'll see with that. I've created temporarily the Facebook group now to get ones together there as an information source and an area to begin, for ones to begin to distribute and disseminate the information. Even, ones we have a little bit more revised draft to put up. I'll be putting that up in a day or so. And, this draft, we only got like 12 points in it to try to keep it simple as a guidelines. But the main ingredients is there, it requires the people's support. And so with that, it can be printed off, flyers, you can pass them out on the street, pin them up in grocery stores, and with just a hitter, hey, humanity, you have a choice, and it's totally obvious. The governments, as I said, don't intend to do this, and really they cannot, because the power is with the people, and the power join people join all together. It's a done deal. So, and the governments are not going to do it. If they intended to do it, they would have did it instead of with the old Lupin, savage, primitive monetary system that they now have. So we'll simplify it for them, the people, and we'll show the government, how it is done.
Yeah, and yeah, it's awesome, Rick. I don't know if we need to keep rambling, then if we're gonna keep it so simple. But yeah, I don't know if you want to say anything else. I feel like people can go to the group, start sharing with their friends and family what's going on, and just keep informed and keep sharing the information. And yeah, there'll be a website soon enough. And yeah, woohoo! Exciting times, huh?
Yeah, it is indeed. So, the immediate things as we're doing, even with this, spread awareness, get it on the street, know the option. And here's the muster point for now, that group page I have, everyone muster there, get informed, and keep, watching the direction. Volunteers are good as we get going along, to keep things coordinated and oriented in a more direct, simplified way. And, as you mentioned, there are so many divine geniuses here, and problem solvers is what we are. So, the great think tanks very quickly are just so efficient at creating the solutions and the remedies if there is any little things. But again, the more refined and simple we keep it, the less obstacles there are going to be there. So we're going right for the stars, and all of us can do it. And it's so simple, it only takes the people to give their consent. What do you want?
Yeah. Hmm.
And again, what's this lockdown in the last year? It was the perfect divine opportunity to awaken so many more to see, the enslavement that was caused over the last year by the governments, and then to see, the opening. I mean, look at it. Also, with governments, it was ridiculous and laughable to see how so many people under the old system were losing their businesses, not enough money to live off. And here's the government saying, oh, we got to be careful with the economy. And so all of the lower people, the governments could have given them money, but they didn't. Then you see the stock markets booming, like the rich getting the money, and absolutely so blatant. But it was so perfect as well to if you look at the lower classes of the world or the poverty classes, if you were to add that up, those are where the huge numbers are at. So again, if you want to look at numbers, you're looking at the majority of the world to support this very quickly. But also, I need to say at this point, even the existing rich ones that are good in heart, it's also a no-brainer for them to join in the advancement of humanity. I mean, why would they not support something that is good for all? And if they don't support it, really their money and the old money, they're going to be left behind without anything anyway. So eventually, they must come forward. So again, it's a matter of choice, but nothing can stop this because it is just too powerful. And it is divinely written. This is the age of Aquarius, the new age, and it's definite. The signs have been in the skies for all of us to see, and the signs have been everywhere. And it is time. It is happening. It is imminent, and it's happening very quick.
Yeah, it really is, and yeah, it's really cool. I wanted to say about the COVID thing. It really did accelerate things because yeah, people are waking up. Like I saw Femke posted a video. I watched it the other day. I was laughing actually. It was like a comedy show. Some Irish reporter talking about how they haven't even isolated the COVID virus, virus. And so so they're testing for something they don't even know what they're looking for. They're vaccinating for something that they're just like it's just a whole made up thing. COVID only exists on the TV, but it really affected people, physically or in this realm because they agreed to the government's suppression. All these people that have their businesses have gone under or they're not earning money, and now it's like, well, hey, we can tell all these people like, well, let's just create our own system and we'll be open for business for things that people need and the other businesses, you'll be looked after. And it's really just beautiful the way that it all divinely is playing out.
Yeah, totally. And, there's a lot of the truth put out there by experts and, the huge World Freedom Alliance, that huge panel of experts, doctors, scientists, immunologists, virologists, I think 87,000 nurses at one time joined with it because, they all know the truth. So I believe that was in Europe where they were saying, COVID is bad, hospitals are full. Then you got the nurses coming saying the hospitals are empty. So, but yeah, the fear propaganda, what the governments, certain ones wanted to do in the media and put it out there. And essentially, ones can, when they have a lot of fear and the consciousness is lower, they create the sickness within themselves. It's the power of suggestion, and it's mind control as well. And they will create it. And again, yes, there are flus and these sort of things that ones get. And it's just so simple that the numbers and all of the real data and statistics, it shows that it's all a lie, is what it was. But it's a good lie because it awakens people. So I have to give it much credit, much divine credit for the beautiful thing that it has done, because it has awakened the masses, if you will. This is what we were waiting for. You know, it took a year, but hey, that's a lot longer than 10 years. This divine plan where we're at right now was thought before it would not come to this point until the year 2030. But let's say, thank God for this corona thing. It woke a lot up in 1 year, what it would have taken to do in 10 linear years. So it's great. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and at the same time, the crystalline structure is getting upgraded, so people are realizing just the comparison of like, well, we can't be affected by any virus anyway because we're these powerful beings with these, like, you know, I mean, in my experience and many people I talk to, you know, they feel better than ever right now. You know, the energy is just so high, and they're, you know, I feel like I'm flying when I'm running around and things these days, and just to share that with people are becoming more interested in purifying their bodies because of COVID as well. They've been stuck inside and they're eating bad food, and like, okay, I got to make a change, you know. So it's, yeah, it's all happening.
All divine and perfect, exactly. And you know, I enjoy in the past what I do as a teacher, you know, even saying what ones would think are far out ridiculous things like crystals coming out of your skin, you know, but I can say this because I know it's a divine absolute truth, but also others, when it occurs, you know, they are witnesses to it, and they know that it's a truth as well. So this is the beauty, that we all can speak freely about these things that were locked in the closet, you know, other things for years. We can speak freely now. What we're finding, yeah, the majority experiences it, and that it is very real. This is not a delusional or delusional thing. It is the actual transformation of humanity and much more. It is really, really here.
Yeah, yeah, it's really here. It's the first day of the year too. It's cool. It's really cool. It's what we've all been waiting for, and it's yeah, it's a time to be grateful and keep busy at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, it is indeed. And, you know, as I said, we keep spreading the word, and I'm so grateful to do a show with you, Henry, and also, you know, the most auspicious timing of this as well. So I'm so grateful to do this, and, you know, share some of this with your viewers as well. Just totally grateful, and yeah, totally busy, you know, even though it was over, like you were saying, New Year holiday, I'm still getting ones that are starting to contact. I am waiting for many contacts at this time to get back because of, you know, the season and part of the old way. We need to give them time for that celebration, and then we get more into work here. So being very busy, Sam and I are as well.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for your time, Rick. It's really cool to connect and share the message with you. So, yeah, very, very grateful here too.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So we should keep this then perhaps short. And when I do my lives, the Femke keeps telling me, which she's correct, to keep them short and to the point. Because again, you know, with the lives, ones don't have time to, you know, watch an hour and a half live every day or what have you. It's so time consuming. So they only need to know the important points. So I need to practice more of that.
Okay, well, on that note, we can leave it at that, Rick. And yeah, I do like your long lives. I do watch a lot of them. But yeah, thanks anyway, and we'll talk soon. And yeah, people just keep going back to the Facebook group or to your page, Rick, and there'll be a website, and just keep yourself updated and keep sharing the message. And thanks to everybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ah, I hear the rooster crowing, the new dawn, the new era. Perfect.
Yeah, you can't get away from the roosters on this island. Yeah.
Well, this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. So very symbolic and very divine. I love that, brother. Woo!
Woo. Thank you, Rick. Love and light.
Namaste, winks and kisses, and much love and light to you and all of your viewers and anyone that may watch this in the future. And please spread the word. The time is now. The quicker the word gets out there, the quicker we have what we wish. Full abundance, prosperity, and happiness and harmony. All together.
Wow. Okay, we'll leave it at that, Rick. Thank you so much.
Okay. Peace out. We'll see you soon. Thank you. I'll find